You're listening to the Act As If podcast with Coach Roel. Real life success stories in business and investing as they happen. And now, here's your host, Coach Roel.
Welcome back to the Act As If podcast with yours truly, Coach Roel. Today we have part 2 of our interview with Rey Salazar. Once again, Rey is a passionate investor and coach with Trust Your Talent. And here, Rey coaches novice investors into investor champions. He first cut his teeth in the corporate world of sales, winning awards from multinational corporations. However, working long hours, making someone else rich was not Rey's chosen path. So he broke out on his own. And today we're going to speak freely and unpack how the experience was with the Act As If episode in part 1 and get to know Rey as he is today for real. So welcome back, Rey.
Thanks for having me back.
It's funny because it's really no secret that we just recorded part 1 like a few minutes before this. But as people watch this and listen to this on the podcast, it's probably going to be about a week later.
Oh,
but so how would we start off this conversation? How did that feel? And have you ever done something like that before, where you verbally pretend like you are living the life of your vision as you see yourself at some point in the future?
You know, funny enough, Tim and I do that on a quarterly basis with each other. It's kind of our check-in for our vision board that we have. Now, to go
so you act out your vision board?
We don't necessarily act out our vision board. We have a check-in. Let's say, okay, what's our goal for next year? We'll have that with each other during the first of the year. And then quarterly, we'll check in. Okay, well, I want to pivot this way a bit. I want to pivot that way a bit. And that's what we do. Because really, as we run our businesses, we get stuck in the details. And so this is our opportunity to pull ourselves back and then see which way is the ship going. Are we still aligned? And do we need to reposition ourselves as we go? Mm-hmm. So that was but to that detail where we acted out, no, I haven't anyway.
So yeah, how was that for you? Because this is like one of the first few, and everyone who's probably going to listen to this knows that there's only a couple of episodes. And so it's something in my mind that I've always thought, I know you and Tim are very goal oriented. And of course, and you just mentioned that you guys review your future goals like every quarter, which is awesome. But I've always thought in my mind, we talk about act as if, and the other term is fake it till you make it, which I not really a big fan of, but act as if. And anyways, how do you see it? And how was the experience for you actually talking to me and pretending like it's already that time in the future?
It was different and different as in, wow, like I really haven't added as much details in this. Because again, when Tim and I do it, it's more of a business exercise. It's like, okay, I want to have this because I want to be in shorts all the time. Check. However, to put myself and imagine myself like toes in the water, Mai Tai in hand, sitting in the pool, that's a whole different level altogether. And so for me, I'm like, man, okay, like I'm owning that now. Like that is great. And it's a great place to be. So thank you for that experience. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm glad. That's what I was really going for. And it's something that, well, how have you used the visualization process or process, as we Canadians say? Can you go into a little bit more detail? But okay, wait, actually, you know what? I do want to give some listeners context, because in the first part of your episode, or part 1 at a previous episode, you said some pretty grand things. Mm-hmm. And I would like to give you a chance to put some of that into context, because even, let's call reality, I mean, today, as we're recording this, how your life is, it's still pretty impressive. So once again, I'm going to put you on the spotlight, as I love to put Tim on the spotlight too, please boast a little bit about your successes to date.
Sure. Thanks, Roel. So we've been investing for a little bit over a decade there. So definitely over a decade. And we've started in a small place, I mean, small compared to major cities in the US, called Edmonton. And we expanded our
Edmonton,
business.
Alberta, Canada.
Alberta in Canada. Yes, thank you. Because I guess there is also an Edmonton, Kentucky. I saw that. I'm like, what? So Edmonton, Alberta in Canada. And then we expanded from there to Western Canada, to all over Canada. Then we jumped into the US. Everybody recalls when the US was very much close to par to Canada, and we thought, the place is on sale. How could we not? Most people go for online shopping. We went for real estate and grew our portfolio there. And then as Brexit was happening in the UK and historical lows in a currency exchange between the Canadian dollar and the British pound, we thought, hey, if it's a winning formula, wash, rinse, repeat. And we also got ourselves into the UK, expanding anywhere from the Midlands, Wales, and Scotland. And that's been a whole different adventure in and of its own. So currently we are investing and have a portfolio in those three areas. And we've bought and sold over the years here. However, currently we're about 380 doors. And the big dream here is to grow it so that we can grow the dreams, aspirations of our joint venture partners that we work with. And the current thing we're working on is 40 doors for 40, because yes, Asians tend to look like they're 12 years old. I'm turning 40. P.S. I'm using a very nice camera right now that smooths everything out. If we ever meet in person, don't judge too hard. It's like those realtor photos. What? That's what you look like? So yeah, 40 for 40, and the year's not even up yet, and we're already looking at opportunities. I think like right now we're looking at 20 opportunities that are currently built, and then looking at another opportunity to raise an apartment and put something on top of it. Now,
so that's like a tear down and rebuild on a commercial level.
Yeah, that's right. Now we already have a team on that end that has experience building hotels, building strip malls. So we have the team in place, and we've had a chance to work with each other over the years. So we're comfortable with each other's processes, and this is just the next level of growth in our relationship. Now that's the Canadian side. And now the other part is we are actually actively looking for a home in the US as we speak. Now, for those of you Americans, when you think of Canadians coming to the US, it's like they're typically old people. So the Canadian term for them is snowbirds. And Tim and I looked at each other and thought, well, why do we have to wait till we're that old to snowbird? Because the business runs on high-speed internet, and that's it.
Yes.
So wherever there's high-speed internet, we can run, and definitely the US is full of that. So we're we're actually actively looking now for more real estate in the US, and starting growing what we've got there to eventually feed our HQ2, if you will, to borrow Amazon's parlance, in the US, because I love living in shorts. Like, I mean, look, for those of you that can't tell by the tan, I'm Filipino, and this is like my birthright, to be in shorts and flip-flops all the time. And that's what we work hard for, to be able to live that. Like, I'm not, I mean, any of you that have met me in person, I'm not about the Maseratis, I'm not about the jewelry. However, I love being in shorts and flip-flops as much as I can. And that sounds weird to be in Canada. However, that's where my family ended up when we left the Philippines. And going back to how we love being in shorts and flip-flops all the time. In about 3 days here, I'll be flying down to San Diego to go on a Panama cruise, which 14-day Panama cruise, which is, again, huge goal that we've had, because previously, as I've shared, or Roel shared during my bio, I worked for somebody else. I worked for somebody else corporately. So attempting to get 21 days to hop on a boat, wander around, and then stay for a bit to visit friends and family in the US was impossible. And yet now we have the freedom to do that. Again, checking our phones, the business runs. Turning on the laptop while waiting for the flight, the business runs. And so it's just been this whole huge embrace of the shift that, look, video chatting is a beautiful thing. Sharing what's happening on my screen is a beautiful thing. And that means the business runs regardless if I'm in Edmonton or Phoenix or Orlando. It works. It continues.
Yeah, and your present day reality kind of reads, if for it's an expression, kind of reads like a lot of people's dream realities. But I wanted to make sure that context, you've already come so far, and in the previous episode, in part 1, you're dreaming even bigger. So I want to give people that context that 200 units, you're building something of that scale and magnitude. It's not that far off from where you are currently now, because, again, for context, what's the largest deal that you care to share you've done so far?
So far we've done several builds here. So we've taken several houses, raised them to the ground, and then built them up into multi-units, because let's face it, and I'll use the term yuppie, young university professionals aren't able to afford single family homes, and yet they don't want to drive. They want to take the bus. They want to be cool, close to all the cool shops. And so we've enabled them to live their best life. And I believe with that one, we were at $3 million Canadian. Now, this is me personally. So to give further context, Tim and I split the world. I get Canada, so my projects are in Canada. So
okay,
$3 million multi-lot, destroy, build back up near downtown. And Tim, he loves planes and airports and everything related to it. And I like to call being Asian in Asia. So he gets to take on the international side of the business.
Okay, very cool. And so, I mean, that's already impressive right there. And again, to put things in context, what was it like for you getting to this point? Like, remember back in a time, I still remember you didn't quit your job back then when we first met. And how did you use this, whatever technique you call it, whether it's act as if, law of attraction, goal setting, what's in the context that you put it? How were you able to convince yourself to make that transition, or what did that look like?
It was a shift. And the biggest shift, and I've shared this with a lot of my mentees, is your main job, your main goal now is your business. So for me, that shift was my business. Yes, I had a job, a day job. Yes, that job pays the bills. However, now my main focus, my passion, what drew me forward, what had me jumping up at 4:30 in the morning, was my business. And so that had several shifts in mindset. I started switching from whatever paid the bills to whatever served me and my business. I was in corporate sales, and for the longest time, I just stayed in my city because I wanted to be home for dinner and be able to watch what everybody else was watching. And once that shift happened, I thought, okay, everything is in service of my business now. I left that job, switched to a role where I can travel on my company's dime. And then from there, I got a chance to shake hands, meet, learn more about different markets. And then everything grew. Because now whenever I walked into a new town, a new city, the term is double carding. On the one hand, I'd be there for the organization that paid for me to get there. And once I was done my work day, I'd network. I'd meet the restaurateurs who tell me what business is actually like and what's driving the economy beyond the glossy marketing of the town and the businesses there. I got to see what different neighborhoods looked like at different times of day and who's living in there and what they used it for. And so that kind of market intelligence really helped us take off because we applied what was theory and like boots on the ground everywhere across Western Canada. And then we started doing it out east. So yeah, that was the life. I mean, I gave for a while there, for the better part, I'm going to say of 8 years, we had no cable.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about, hey, I had a job during the day. And after that, market analysis, sending out emails, following up with potential power team members, talking to tenant buyers. And for those of you who don't know the term tenant buyers, it's related to rent to own, or what we like to call it, lease options. And that was our baby strategy that fed the business to what it is today, all the capital that our business has today. And
So
we diversified.
when that switch happened in your mind, was it all of a sudden complete 180 and you're like, forget this, I'm going forward? Or was there still like an inkling of, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like some people I've spoken to, they said, well, I felt the fear and it exhilarated me and I did it anyways. I quit my day job. Like, was it like all of a sudden 100% confidence for you? Like, this is it? Or was there like, okay, I'm quitting, but I'm still not sure. Like, what was that experience for you?
There was definitely fear. I mean, I was raised on the idea that I need to be wearing a suit, carrying a laptop bag, and getting a salary. And so there was a bit of fear there. However, really, once it came to the time to leave, if you will, to cast off the corporate shackles, it was, well, the numbers speak for themselves. I've already built my own parachute, if you will. And the parachute takes care of the house, the car, the trips to warm places to wear shorts all the time. I really overstayed having a job, having a job. And so once it came apparent that one, I wasn't going to be getting any more mortgages in my personal name because I've maxed out.
Yeah.
And two, my territory in that role maxed out, as in I've been everywhere I need to be. It was time to move on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to make sure we make some time for you to really share your message of how you're able to serve others through your Trust Your Talent business. Because I think we've already pretty much established that you and Tim are like the real deal when it comes to real estate investors. So good on you for that. Now, on the Trust Your Talent side, what's really important is that you're not just doing all this investing for yourself, but you're actually sharing your knowledge. Yes. So for those who have never heard of you before, have heard maybe a little bit about the legend that is Rey Salazar, how can they learn more about Trust Your Talent and how they can learn how to start investing in real estate?
For sure. So Trust Your Talent, go to www.trusttalent. Oh, wait, trust, yourtalent.ca. Oopsies. Trustyourtalent.ca. And click on the coach. There's a section there on get to know us and book a meeting with one of our coaches and start the conversation, because we are often so limited by what we know and what we've grown up to be to fit the molds of our parents. We're not aware of our own strength and what we're capable of and what's possible for us and our families. So start the conversation. We welcome you into our community. And of course, we're a place where we encourage everybody to grow to the best of their ability.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm going to press you on this because I remember Trust Your Talent is more than just a real estate investing company. So I want to make sure we make that distinction. What's your philosophy with Trust Your Talent and how people can benefit from it?
That's great. So Trust Your Talent was built on Tim and my experience of what we know to be the fundamental wellnesses. Currently, we're at financial wellness, so that everyone that goes through our doors can be capable of financing the next stage of their lives. Next, there's physical wellness, because again, if we're not healthy physically, really, we're going to have a lot of money and be in bed. So that's very important to us. And that's a portion here we're actively growing and developing the curriculum for. Next is mental wellness. I know there was a statistic I read fairly back that entrepreneurs are very likely, and high performers are very likely to get depressed. And so we want to be able to provide that support built in for our community that are pushing themselves really hard to reach next levels, and yet find that balance for themselves and support their family too that's going through that, and get that knowledge. And of course, spiritual wellness and mind wellness, because there's more to life than physical things. And we want our community and those we have the honor of reaching out to and joining us, that expanded mindset.
That's excellent. So once again, thank you so much, Ray, for your time. And it's really impressive always, just even hearing the stories that you have up until now. And it was really, really fun talking about your vision for yourself. It's really nice to get to know you in that way.
Thanks, Roel.
So once again, you can get more information about Tim and Ray's mission by going to trustyourtalent.ca and get the conversation started. All right, Ray, till next time. Hopefully we'll see you somewhere in the world.
For sure. See ya.
See ya.
You've been listening to the Act As If podcast with Coach Roel. Real life success stories in business and investing as they happen.